If you find lining up stamps and punches a bit tricky, today's tip will help you. Today I'm using the All Aflutter stamps and punches to create some lovely simple butterfly cards. Today I'll share some tips to help you use your stamp and punches together. Hi, I'm Angela Palmer from Stamp with Angela. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Auckland, New Zealand. I love helping people create handmade cards with confidence. Thank you for joining me today for my live here on Facebook and YouTube. So today I'm going to share some ideas with you, showing you the All Aflutter stamps and punches, and make some cards. Now these cards are ones that I actually did during Coffee and Cards this week. So it's wonderful to be able to get together and craft with others and connect with others and have fun making handmade cards. So this is what I made. We had some new people come, which was great. Some of our regulars couldn't because it was school holidays, so different schedules or looking after grandkids and things. But it's always nice to be able to get together when we can. Now, it looks like today I am here on Facebook and YouTube. Had a couple of technical issues last week. Today it was all set up, ready to go, and then 5 minutes before I came on, it disappeared off Facebook. So the only way to add Facebook in was to change the time, saying 1:40, even though I'm actually here live at 1:30. So I hope people can see me here live and will be able to watch today's live. So let's get started and have a look at the stamps and punches we're going to use today. All right, here we go. So this here is the All Aflutter stamps, and this is the punch that coordinates it, and you'll see you've got 3 different types of butterflies that you can use. And so if you look in the catalogue in the All Aflutter, you'll see here on page 52 the stamps, and that's part of a bundle. So you can check out the bundle as well. There's a couple of examples using it. And then the punches are a little bit further along. Here we go. And here is the All Aflutter punches. Now you can get them together as a bundle and you save. So let's quickly, here are our bundles. Smaller images here, but you can see them together. Here it is on page 42. Here's our bundle, saves 10%. So why don't I start and show you what we're doing today, and then you can join in. All right, so you may be watching the recording, and that's fine too, because I know Thursday afternoon doesn't always work for everyone, but you know, if you can watch it live, great. Otherwise, the option of the recording. All right, so I've got quite a few sample cards to show you, and then I'll show you the process of how I made them. Then I'll give you some tips and things as well. So I started off fairly simple, and basically I wanted to use, my initial idea was to use it with some of the Artisan Sketch Garden paper, and this was in black and white. Okay. So I've kept this one, other than the black and white, monochromatic with Crisp Cantaloupe as the main kind of colour. And the background and the butterflies are the same. And you'll see that it's angled. So then I decided, what if I combine 2 colours? So then, whoops, grabbing my punch here. Then I decided to have hydrangea hue in the background and Crisp Cantaloupe for my butterfly. So a bit of contrast. Now I don't know if you can see the difference, but this here has got black edging and this one has got white. So this is more subtle, and this is white, which frames like the edge of the card too. Now these are both note cards. So note cards are the note cards and the envelopes, which are great for coffee and cards. Now you'll see that it's angled. This one goes this way and this one goes that way. All right, then I decided, what if I just wanted to do it straight? Some people don't like angles. So here I've got it, and this time it's straight. So I've used Barely Blush in the background, and I have got the white edging, and then I've used Hydrangea Hue for my butterflies. And the background was fairly plain. So I thought, well, what else can I do that, you know, sort of makes it a little bit more interesting for the background? So then I thought, I've got all these bits lying around from the punches. Why don't I do some stenciling? So this is what I did, or masking, depending on what you want to call it, stenciling. In the background, I put down my stencils and I sponged and I gave that background. And then I thought, actually, if I look at the stamp set, there are some sort of solid butterflies in here. Why don't I just stamp the background? So this is what I did on this one. So this is Peaceful Pine and Golden Glow. So this one has the butterflies stamped in the background. So you can see quite a few variations of the same basic design. And I don't know if there's one subtle difference for this one. I ended up, to show more of the butterflies, I did make it a bit narrower. Then someone in one of the Coffee and Cards class thought, well, why don't we use the other side? So this was the side that I had thought to do, mainly so the butterflies would stand out. But there's also this flower on the background, which looks quite nice. So I thought, so that's what they did. And then today I've created this one. I originally started off with Barely Blush butterflies, but that was just too light. And so I thought I need something more striking. So I've kind of gone the opposite combination for this one. I've gone Golden Glow with the white in this. And we also tried white on the border. It didn't work. You didn't see it. So definitely with this pattern, because it's more white, the black edging is definitely striking. And then I've arranged my butterflies slightly different. So you can see lots of different ideas of how you can use the butterflies. And what we're going to do now is we are going to make a card or two, and I'll show you the different tips along the way. Okay, and then at the end of today I've got a few extra special things to share with you. So let's keep all those cards not too far away so we can kind of see them. So as you'll see, it's the same basic design but lots of variations on it. All right, so let's get a block and the stamps. I have our punch ready. All right. So here's my tip. So here's my simple tip for making sure that you are lining up your stamp lines nicely with your punch. If you see these particular stamps, when you put them on the block, you could sort of adjust them slightly, then they're not going to fit in the punch. So this is what I do to make sure it's going to line up nicely in the punch. Except I want this one. All right. So you can see here that, you know, these will move around a bit. They may not be exactly lined up for the punch. This is what I'm going to do. Here is a piece I've stamped out earlier. I'm going to turn my stamps upside down and sit them in where it is punched out. Then I'm going to get my block and put it on top. Now I know that that is the perfect placement for this. So let me just show you again. Let's move the dimensional. So we're going to sit the stamps in where the punched out bit is, put my block on top. So if you have a look, it nicely lines up for the punch. Now I can punch. Sorry, now I can stamp, and then I know my punch is going to line up. So let's have a try. So because it's photopolymer, I am going to stamp on a matte because that gives us a nice cushioning. So I'm going to use some black ink. Oops, we've got a dimensional. Can you see that? Take that off. Right, ink this up. And we need to line it up. We need it to be fairly near the bottom because the cardstock won't go too far down. So a slight gap, but not too much at the bottom. Brilliant. Open our punch. Now, if we put this in, it's a little bit hard to hold it in place. So I'm going to get a Post-it note, and you can even make it narrower. Just something to hold it with. Put it in, line it up, and I can use this to move it around and adjust it. So what you need to do is you need to let it grip so it's not going to move. Make sure I'm happy with it and then press it down. Except I have forgotten, it is best to sponge it before we cut it. So let's do that. So I'm going to get some, let's try some pressed cantaloupe. No, actually Belly Blush, I think. A nice light pink. And get a blending brush. So we are going to use Belly Blush and sponge my flowers. Yeah, this is quite a light colour, so I will need to go fairly firmly. All right, here we go. So sponge it with the ink and the blending brushes as much as dark or light as you like, and then we are ready to go. Okay, so now if I put this in the punch, it's quite hard to line up because I've got nothing to hold. So I'm going to add my Post-it note to the side, put it in, and then I can move it around as I need to. So we're going to line it up, let it grip, so I'm happy with it. Then I'm going to punch it out. Right, we don't need that bit. Okay, so there are my 3 butterflies. I'm going to do that again because I'm going to do a different color for another card. So let me show you that again. So move these out the way. So here I'm going to stamp my butterflies. So I'm going to use my black ink. Now I want to stamp fairly close to the bottom because it can only fit in the punch and it can't go too far down. So press and hold. Nice. I'm going to colour these ones in Hydrangea Hue. Now be careful because something like this can be a very dark colour first. So let's just kind of do it over here, and then I'm just going to gently colour. We can always add more, but you can't take it away. So ink it up and add some blue. So we want to colour it before we cut it out because it's much easier to hold it like this rather than try and colour a tiny butterfly. So definitely colour before you punch them out. And you can make them very dark or just light. There we go, that will do. So if I try and put this in again, I've got nothing to hold. So let's get out our Post-it note, hold it on, and then we can adjust it. Like so. Let it grip when I'm happy with it. Okay, and then punch it down. If you just punch in one go, it's likely to jump and then misalign. Okay, now if you find that you stamped it and you can't push it down enough, you just need to trim the edge and then you can put it in your punch to punch out. All right, so we have our butterflies for our cards. So now we need to do the fronts of our cards. So I'm going to do 2 cards, and I'm going to do one that is Belly Blush and one that is Hydrangea Hue. Okay, so I'm going to do one that is with the stamps and one that is some sponging. So let me get this here. So I'm going to have something across here, so I don't really need to fill in the space, but let's say we're up here. Let's get out our hydrangea hue again and sponge some butterflies. So I'm going to do it kind of like this. I don't want to go over the edge, so I want to be careful where I'm sponging, and just fairly lightly. And kind of have, that's very light. I could probably go a bit darker. I don't want to move it though. So the sponging is definitely a lighter look, but you can see it. Let's do that one there. I'm going to put my finger there, so hopefully I don't car too far down. Oh, that one's a bit darker. Okay, there we go. I did get a bit up there, but that's okay. Let's put some down the bottom. Don't want to go over the edge of the paper if I can help it. Okay, very subtle. And let's do another one here. All right, so this is what it looks like if it's sponged, okay? And then we've got other piece through there. If you want it to be a bit bolder looking, we are going to stamp this one using the other stamp. Now this one I'm not going to line up with the punch because we're not actually punching it out. All right, so I need another block, a D block, to put this on. So I'm just going to kind of let it, or I could even just put it down, probably not on there in case it was dirty. Put it down and then kind of goes where it needs to go. Okay, so for this one we are using, yep, Barely Blush. And just sorry, working out where to put them. Oh, let's go like that. For this one, I'm going to hold it for a second. And up here. That one isn't quite so clean. I'm going to turn it over. I think there might have been a little bit of colour on it. There we go, that's nicer. You always got two sides, two chances. And down the bottom. And another one over here, maybe. Something like that, okay? I feel like I'm missing something there. So let's do a part of a butterfly. So you can have a play with your background like so. All right. Then we're going to be putting our piece across. I think I'll go for this one with the white and this one with the black. So you could put thin strips, but just to get the right width, I've gone and done a whole piece, and it'll be like that. And then this one's going to be the white, like so. So this is the DSP is 5 centimeters wide, and the colored piece or the black or the white piece behind is 5.5 centimeters wide. And the width needs to be about 10.5 centimeters. It needs to be wider than your card because we want to trim some off. So when you go to put this on your card, you need to make sure that you don't have any gaps over here, like that kind of thing. You want it to be hanging off. You don't want the angle so great that it's like that. So you want to have something hanging off each side, okay? So decide on the angle. So I'm not going to go right to the edge because it's not gluing the edge. So we're going to put that one on like so. And also make sure you've got enough room down the bottom for a sentiment. And we're going to put this one here. So it looks quite different sponged to stamped. Need to make sure our flowers are up the right way. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second. Then we're going to trim it off. So the other thing you need to decide is sentiments, where you're going to put them, and are you going to stamp directly onto your card, or are you going to add something afterwards and fussy cut it out or something like that. and then we'll add our butterflies and some embellishments. So how about for this one, I am going to stamp directly on it. You can always stamp directly on it, and then if it doesn't work, you can cover it. Thinking of you today, I might just do thinking of you without the today. So let's put this down, thinking of you. And I'm going to only ink thinking of you, or hopefully only ink thinking of you and not the today. So I'm going to look at that carefully. I think it needs a bit more black ink. I haven't tried the stamp before, so it's gonna, if it doesn't work, we cover it up, no worries. So let's try thinking of you. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay. Right, for this one, maybe we will stamp on something and then sort of fussy cuss it out. So I've got, like, that's what I did with that one. I've got all sorts of sentiment stamps. This is an older one, but it's a nice little happy birthday. So I could do it in black. I could do it in blue. I'm just going to go with this. That's pretty good. I could actually even leave that without being fussy cut. All right, if you feel it's too white, you could sponge it as well, but because that's white and white, I think I'm okay with that. All right, let's do some cutting. So I'm going to show two different ways of cutting these. Well, actually, there are three. So to cut these off, you could turn it over and use your scissors and cut it. Like so. It's probably the hardest way of getting it exactly. See, it's slightly wonky. It's not perfect. The other way you could do it is I have a guillotine. We had this a few years ago when it was a joining promotion. So I'm going to see if I can just trim that a little bit straighter. Yeah, much straighter. And I'll do the other side. So I am lining up the edge, taking off any bits because it's not going to cut if something's stuck there. It could be slightly sticky so it sticks to the blade, and then cutting down so that gives a nice straight edge. Or if you've got the trimmer, you can use the trimmer. So lining this one up is probably a little bit harder. That's pretty good. And I've gone slightly over. I can't really trim that anymore, but I probably can with this. So unfortunately you can't buy this thingy anymore, but you can get really close with that. Okay. Here we go. So we need to put it on our card front, and we need to add embellishments and our butterflies and sentiments and things. So trying to get this out of the envelope. Dear, doesn't want to come. Oh, it's probably stuck here. It's like that's why. I put it in the envelope. It's ready for class, so it's got all the bits in it, but now it's stuck to it. But don't worry, we can cover that up. So let's bend that over. We are just going to cover that piece up and adhere that like so. Except that's upside down. We want our butterflies up the right way. We are going to crease like this and put on here. Okay, so this is our hydrangea hue one. Like so. And then we need another one. So I tend to look at the down part and then crease like so. And put this on here. Not too much glue, enough to stick it down, but we don't want it oozing out the sides. All right, so isn't that cool? All right, I'm even going to trim a little bit off this so it's a little bit narrower, because I don't want it too wide. There we go. So you could leave it with, and I'm even going to cut a little bit off each end. I just don't want it to be too big. So I'm going to push it against there so it's nice and straight. A little bit off this end and a little bit off that end. That looks better. And I'll put that on with dimensionals like so. And then we have to add our butterflies. So I could add the same color or I could add different. So let me know what you think. And I was going to do contrasting, but now I'm wondering if I'll do monochromatic. So what I'm doing with my butterflies is I'm bending them up. I'm going to put glue just in the middle so they're only adhered in the middle part. I think I'm going to keep the one color. All right, so let's do this. So that's quite a bit of glue, so we're going to shear it. So it kind of looks like the butterflies are on the flowers. Don't want that green bit to show through. That was from our post-it note. There we go. And so the intention was to have mixed colors, but actually I'm going to change this up too. We're going to go for the same color. Maybe angle that slightly. There we go. So I've arranged them differently from how I did it here. So to finish it off, oh, we've got to add that too. We need to add some bling and then we're done. Okay. So I'm going to use mini ones. So you could color it or just leave it as is. All right, there we go. Did I put one on the end? I'm not quite sure what's going on today. I'm not having any comments come through live, so hopefully this is all recording and fine. Okay, there we go. So let's finish it off with bling. You could have in-color bling, other bling. I'm going to go for in-color bling and use my Take Your Pick tool, which I love. I'm going to go with this one, can have the pink. We'll put one over here. Oops, oh dear, my butterfly has moved. Let's put him back. I knocked him. We'll do a cover up here too. There we go. And then some blue hydrangea hue for this one. Or we could even put more butterflies on it. But we'll go with the in color. 1, 2, and 3. Like so. So even with this, I've kind of changed it up again. Right, let's move all the extra stuff out the way and see what we have created. So you can see this is the same design, but all the cards look different. I've got different color combinations. I've got different backgrounds, got different ways of doing the paper. And you could use the same technique and use it with different paper and different, different stamps and things. So you don't need a complicated background, even with simple stamping or textured with the sponging. It can make your card look really good. So there you go. Here are today's cards, what we did during Coffee and Cards, and some inspiration for you. So why not pull out your punches and stamps, and now you know how to line them up on your block so they're ready to go, so you can stamp so nicely. So you can make a simple butterfly card using the All Flutter stamp set and punch with lots of different variations. Cool. So let me know what you think is your favorite. Which ones do you like and why? That would be great. Okay. Now to finish off, I've got a couple of things to share. Some exciting things. So let me show you. So in just over a week's time, we have Extravaganza coming up. It's an Auckland event held at North Coast Baptist Church, a whole day of crafting. Doors open at 9:30, start at 10, and 2 projects, then lunch, 2 projects, then afternoon tea, and another project, and finish around 3:30. So you'll get to try lots of new products and stamp sets and make some fun cards, Lentinex along the way. It's $55. There'll be displays as well. So please sign up in the next few days if you'd like to come to that. There'll be a link in the description shortly for that too. Last week I shared about my In Colour Club. So each month you get an In Colour, you get a card in the In Colour, ink pad, ink refill ribbons, embellishments, half a pack of cardstock, some of the shimmer paper, some of the DSP, and some of the two-tone cardstock. And it is $85, and you get a different colour plus shipping each month. So I'm doing a new round of that if you want to sign up for it. Check that out. Now I have something new and exciting to show you. From tomorrow, you can purchase one of these. I wanted to show it on my live, but it literally only came yesterday and I only opened it an hour before this live. So no time to have a play. But this is the Stampin' hot foil system. So let me just show it to you, and I will share it in a live or video soon. So this is the hot foil platform and the other bits with it as well, the shim, and then the plate to put your hot dies and things on. The instructions, which we definitely need. This, I've possibly put these back in the wrong order because I did open it. This is a silicone mat, so you can put this on to protect your area. And then you've got this here, which is for picking up your magnetic dies when they're hot. So lots of exciting things in there. And then obviously you need to go with that foil. So we've got silver, gold, and hot pink. So I haven't even opened these up yet. Let's have a quick look. Oh, here we go. 2 rolls of the foil. Awesome. We've got a power cord that's needed, obviously. And then we have some dies. So I've only got a couple to start with, see how it goes. Got the birthday ones. I've got some sentiments, some leaves, and I thought I got some butterflies, but I will have to check where they are. They must be in the other box, but I thought I bought the butterflies too. So that'll be lots of fun. I'll have a play, and then I can share with you how it all works. All right, so thanks for watching today. I think many of you will be watching the recording. I'm not quite sure what's happened with the live, but hopefully it is live and you can all see it. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me. I love sharing with you and things. So thank you for being here today. Just going to switch back to my seat and stuff. Where are we? All right, here we go. So thank you for being here today. And I look forward to maybe seeing your extravaganza or other events. And reach out to me if you've got any questions. I love sharing with you. And why not give these butterflies and things a go? The hot foil machine is available to customers from tomorrow. So it's $337 for the system. Then you buy the foils and the dies and things on top of that. So you do need to use the foil dies with the machine to make it work. Okay? All right, so thanks so much for being here. Reach out to me if you've got any questions. And